Amelia stood in front of her mirror, staring at her reflection. She pulled at her sweater, trying to hide the parts of herself she didn't like. Her eyes lingered on her thighs, her stomach, her arms. No matter how much she tried, she couldn't see what others claimed to see. To her, the flaws were glaringly obvious, and they overshadowed everything else. It wasn't always this way. As a little girl, Amelia loved herself unconditionally. She wore bright, mismatched outfits because they made her happy, danced in the rain because it felt magical, and smiled at her reflection without a second thought. But as she grew older, the world's opinions started to seep in. The comments about her weight, her skin, her quirks, they planted seeds of doubt that grew into a forest of insecurity. The breaking point came one evening when Amelia canceled plans with her friends for the third time that month. She'd made up an excuse about feeling unwell, but the truth was, she couldn't bear the thought of being seen. She spent the night scrolling through social media, comparing herself to influencers with perfect skin, toned bodies, and glamorous lives. Tears blurred her vision as she whispered to herself, "Why can't I just be enough?" Her best friend, Chloe, called her the next day. Chloe had a way of knowing when something was wrong, even when Amelia tried to hide it. "Mia," Chloe said gently, "what's going on? You've been distant lately, and I'm worried about you." Amelia hesitated, but then the words came pouring out. She told Chloe about the self-doubt that consumed her, about the nights spent crying and the days spent hiding. Chloe listened without interrupting, her heart breaking for her friend. When Amelia finished, Chloe said something that would change everything. "You're enough just as you are. But it doesn't matter how much I tell you that if you don't believe it yourself. Mia, you need to love yourself. Not for anyone else, but for you." Amelia's journey to self-love wasn't easy. At first, it felt unnatural, like forcing herself to wear shoes that didn't fit. She started small, writing down one thing she liked about herself each day. On the first day, all she could think of was, "I have nice handwriting." It felt silly, but Chloe encouraged her to keep going. Gradually, the list grew. She began to notice her kindness, her resilience, her sense of humor. She started focusing on the things her body could do rather than how it looked. Her legs weren't just too big, they were strong enough to carry her on hikes. Her arms weren't flabby, they held the people she loved. Amelia also took a break from social media. She unfollowed accounts that made her feel inadequate and replaced them with ones that promoted positivity and authenticity. She read books about self-acceptance, attended a yoga class, and even tried meditation, though she mostly just ended up thinking about snacks during it. Months passed, and Amelia began to notice a change. She laughed more freely, danced without worrying who was watching, and wore clothes that made her feel good instead of hiding behind oversized sweaters. She started saying no to things that drained her energy and yes to things that brought her joy. One day, while cleaning out her closet, she found an old photo of herself as a little girl. In the picture, she was grinning from ear to ear, her face smudged with dirt, her hair a wild mess. She was holding a flower she picked, proudly showing it to the camera. Looking at that photo, Amelia felt a wave of emotion. She wanted to be that girl again, fearless, joyful, and unapologetically herself. "I'm sorry I forgot you," she whispered to the photo. "But I'll make it right." On her birthday, Amelia decided to write a letter to herself. She sat down with a cup of tea, a blank page, and a heart full of gratitude. "Dear Amelia, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the way you picked yourself up, even when it felt impossible. I'm proud of the way you've learned to see beauty in your imperfections, strength in your struggles, and value in your existence. You're not perfect, and that's okay. Perfection is a myth, a story we've been told to chase but can never catch. You're real, and that's so much better. Thank you for being you, for your kindness, your courage, your quirks. Thank you for not giving up on yourself, even when the world tried to make you feel small. Love, me." Amelia framed the letter and hung it on her wall as a reminder. It wasn't the end of her journey. Self-love is a lifelong process, but it was a milestone, a declaration of her commitment to herself. She still had tough days, moments when doubt crept in. But now, she faced them with compassion rather than criticism. She treated herself as she would a dear friend, with patience and understanding. Amelia's life didn't magically transform overnight. She didn't become a supermodel or a millionaire. But she became something far more important: happy. She learned that loving yourself isn't about vanity or arrogance. It's about recognizing your worth, embracing your flaws, and giving yourself the same kindness you give to others. And in loving herself, Amelia found the freedom to live, truly live, without fear, without apology, and with a heart full of love.